Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear participants. Great to welcome you in our SAP User Groups YouTube stream. My name is Larissa Brinkman from the SAP Global User Groups organization, and I'm your host. I would like to welcome you today to our stream, and the topic is artificial intelligence, AI integration into business applications with intelligence scenario lifecycle management. AI is dominated technology news. SAP has already integrated AI in many cases. The Intelligence Scenario Lifecycle Management tool helps integrated AI into business applications, and today we want to show you how it works. Our speakers will lead you throughout the presentation and demo. Our speakers for today are Preeti Dinkra, who is Director, Product Management in Cloud and Lifecycle Management, and Abhishek Mishra, who is Product Owner in Cloud and Lifecycle Management. Before handing over to Preeti, let me share a few housekeeping rules. We kindly ask you to post your questions via live chat, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. The additional materials of this session will be available under the same link in the description to the video of today's session shortly after the stream is finished. With this, I wish you great interaction and hand over to Preeti.
Thank you, Larissa, for the introduction. And we are absolutely delighted here to give an overview of ISLM. So today we'll explore the key capabilities of ISLM that makes ISLM a powerful tool for seamlessly integrating AI into your business applications. So let's just jump right in. So the standard disclaimer here, so kindly bear this in mind that we will be sharing the roadmap of ISLM. We will also be showcasing some of our upcoming capabilities, and those are subject to change. So what we plan to cover today is to start with a bit of a context. So we'll talk about the ISLM introduction and overview. And then there are three key aspects that I want to cover in today's session. So first one being the pre-built AI use cases or the out-of-the-box use cases which are delivered in our S4 HANA applications embedded. So that would be the first segment that we would like to focus on. And then we will move on to the part where we will talk about how you can use ISLM to create and manage your own unique custom use cases with the capabilities of ISLM. And last but not the least, the third segment is about how ISLM is being extended to support Gen AI-based use cases. And then we have the demo. We have comprehensive demos of all these three functionalities that I mentioned. We will wrap it up with the roadmap, further information, and Q&A at the end of the session. So let's start with this picture here. And what we see here is SAP's overarching goal, which is to empower organizations to leverage all the technology that we are offering for increased intelligence and also efficiency and sustainability. So at the center here, we have Cloud ERP. And to enable this goal that I mentioned, we have AI as one of the key factors. And we have Cloud ERP here, where we have embedded AI already available for our customers that can be leveraged. On the other hand, we have BTP here, which is our platform, which enables our customers to extend their SAP solutions and embed AI using the capabilities delivered with the BTP. So having said that, so this was a strategic view. So now let's talk about the practical view about it, that how do we really integrate AI into business applications? So you would see up here this picture at the bottom where we have these three boxes. So first one being the business application. This is where the business user would consume any kind of intelligence. And then we have the ML runtimes or AI services, which could be either embedded within the same stack in case of HANA ML, or it could be, for example, SAP BTP. And right at the center, at the core of it, where we have ISLM, which is acting like a bridge, which bridges the gap between the SAP business application and AI services. So what is ISLM? So it's a key enabler for our customers, our partners, and our internal teams to create these AI use cases that we see as an example here, and not just create, but they operate the entire life cycle of it. So what that really means it for our customers to be able to leverage any AI use cases, they first need to discover them, they need to set up the scenarios, then comes the part of training and then deployment and so on. So ISLM is a scenario, is a framework, is a powerful tool for our customers, partners, and our internal teams to which provides the capabilities to build these kind of UI cases, AI use cases, and also train them and then activate them and then consume them in the business applications. So as I mentioned, ISLM is a framework which is supporting our customers, our internal teams, and so on. What we target with ISLM, what is our main objective with ISLM is to empower our business teams here, empower our LOB organizations and our developers to build these kind of AI use cases and make them available for our customers. ISLM acts as a single entry point in S/4HANA to, first of all, discover these kind of scenarios and then operate them in a single stack in ISLM. So over here, we have this picture where we have a terminology called embedded. So which I just mentioned that in case of S/4HANA, you have everything available in the single stack, but we support side-by-side use cases as well. So we support the remote approach of machine learning, wherein you have AI services which are running on, for example, BTP. And up here, you can see a few examples. So we have SAP AI Core, which is supported in ISLM. And ISLM is designed to support all kinds of machine learning platforms and AI services. So it is, so you can imagine ISLM as a universal connector for all kinds of ML runtimes and your business application. So we'll dive deeper into these aspects of which AI services are supported and so on. ISLM is part of the basis release, so you don't require any additional licenses with it. It's part of the standard S/4HANA delivery. It's part of both cloud and on-premise deployment models. So it is so you have the flexibility to leverage ISLM whether you're on-premise or on cloud. And in terms of minimum releases, you can see the releases which are mentioned here. So ISLM has been available for our customers for close to 3 years now, and it's part of S/4HANA 2020 on the on-premise and on cloud 2011 and onward, 2011 onwards. So what are the key benefits of ISLM? So ISLM standardizes this entire process. So as I mentioned, it acts as a connector, as an integration component between the business application and any kind of AI services. It could be HANA ML based AI services or AI libraries such as PAL and APL, which is predictive analytics library, or automated predictive libraries. And in case of side-by-side or remote services, it could be AI core, it could be AI services, or it could be even data intelligence. So our objective is to offer a standardized and a streamlined way to integrate all these AI services with minimal coding into business applications. So ISLM offers a low-code approach for our developers, and not just our developers, even for our customers. So if you're building your unique AI use cases, you can take advantage of ISLM's low-code approach. And then this was the creation part. Now, once it's created, then comes the part of ops. So ISLM has comprehensive functionality to run all kinds of lifecycle management operations. So to give you a few examples, so ISLM also supports, for example, the prerequisite check, so which is a unique functionality only available in ISLM. So using ISLM, you can check whether a pre-built scenario which is delivered by SAP can in fact be run successfully in your environment or not. So what this means is that you can perform checks such as whether the quality of the data, whether the quantity of the data meets the prerequisites and so on, whether the technical configuration in place and so on. So you can start right from exploration to prerequisite checks, and then comes the training part. So machine learning is all about training. So you basically need to train these models based on customer data. And this is an iterative process. So you would be training the models in an iterative way. And ISLM offers all the capabilities for you to evaluate the best performing model. So you could run these trainings multiple times. You could schedule these trainings, and all these capabilities are available in ISLM. You could also evaluate the quality of the model. So we show all different kind of matrices indicating how good is a model and whether you're really getting the business outcomes that you're looking for or not. Lastly, the activation step, which is a key step here. So there again, ISLM offers comprehensive features. So we have two types of activations possible. So while you're in your evaluation or testing phase, you could simply use the local activation. And once you're satisfied with the quality of the model, then you could activate the model, and then the predictions would be available in the business applications. So we will see all of this in action in the demo. So this was about the fundamentals of ISLM, what it offers and some of the key benefits and so on. So now let's dive a little bit deep into this technical architectural view and the different personas which are involved in this AI, in this whole AI journey. So at the bottom of it, we have the data scientist, who's an essential figure in this entire process. And so to say that the entire ML journey starts with development of the AI artifacts and so on. Then on the left-hand side, we have the design time or the development of intelligence scenarios, where we see these two personas. And then over here on the right-hand side, we have the business admin, which is basically running and operating these scenarios. And on the top here, we have the business user, who in the end consumes all of this. So let's break it down a little bit. So first of all, the process, as I mentioned, it all starts with the AI content development. And I'd like to mention here that ISLM is not the tool for data analysis process. So all of the data analysis happens outside of ISLM in the current functionality. And ISLM is not the tool for development of the AI services, so to say. Rather, you should see ISLM as an orchestrator between these two worlds of AI services and the business application. And ISLM mainly targets two key personas. So one over here, which is about the development of the intelligence scenario. And then once it's developed and published, then comes the operations part. And here the business admin would then run these kind of operations. So this was in a nutshell about the personas involved and a little bit around the entire process. We will see some of this in a little more detail in the demo. So now coming to the pre-built AI use cases, and let's see what SAP delivers there. So as you can see here, we have about 25 plus AI use cases which are delivered as part of the standard delivery in S4 HANA. So, and these use cases are ranging from different business applications, right from finance to procurement and supply chain, manufacturing, and so on. And most of these scenarios are applicable to both S/4HANA on-premise as well as cloud. So irrespective of your deployment model, you could leverage these scenarios. And as you can see up here, we offer a repository of these scenarios, which are pre-built, which are out of the box available, ready for consumption for our customers in this form. So basically, you can look up a lot of this information in ISLM. And this is one of the Fiori applications of ISLM. So this is called intelligent scenario, where you have all the scenarios listed and they are categorized based on the line of business, the scenario type, and so on. And then this also is quite enriched in terms of all the kind of information it provides. So you could drill down to details of these use cases. So you could see that which Fiori app IDs are associated with an intelligence scenario. You could look up the scope item. You could look up the help documentation and so on.
Preeti, maybe you can go off camera because there was a moment of unstable connection.
Sure.
And we couldn't hear you properly. Thank you.
So you want me to repeat something? I could do that.
Yes, please. The last 2 minutes, maybe.
Sure. Yeah. So we covered the fundamentals of ISLM, and then I briefly talked about the different personas which are involved in this entire process. And so now let's take a closer look at the wealth of pre-built AI use cases that ISLM brings to S4HANA. So ISLM is designed to, as I mentioned, create and manage AI scenarios, and SAP delivers numerous intelligence scenarios across different business domains. So such as finance, procurement, supply chain, and so on. And these pre-built UI use cases, these AI use cases can be explored within the ISLM Fury application that you see up here. So ISLM serves as a single entry point. It serves as a central repository for all the intelligence scenario. So whether they come from SAP or even if they are developed by you, so basically custom scenarios, all of that is available through this kind of a repository. The pre-built AI use cases are available both in on-premise release and in cloud release as well. So whether you operate on-premise as for HANA or in cloud, these pre-built AI use cases are readily available for you. And this flexibility ensures that regardless of your deployment model, you can leverage the power of pre-built intelligence scenario to enhance and streamline your business processes. So just to highlight a few examples here, so I've listed down a few scenarios, and I've also provided a few links here where you can look up more information. So this is the blog which I published, which has the list of the latest scenarios and some of the relevant information such as the scope ID and the help documentation associated and so on. So yeah, just to give you a few examples here. So sales order auto completion. So this is the latest scenario in the area of sales domain. And this is something that we will also showcase as a demo in a few minutes from now. Then we have sales order created from an unstructured data. So basically, this helps the sales representatives so they can generate sales order directly from unstructured data such as PDF, image files, and then containing some kind of a data such as purchase order and so on. And the system will automatically extract this information and create a sales order request. Then we have a few scenarios in the behavioral insights area where you can predict entities which are at the risk of late payment or late tax return filing and so on. So these are just handful of examples which I wanted to mention. For more comprehensive information, there are these links that I've provided. So kindly look up more information here. Now, moving on to the actual application part. So we explored the capabilities of ISLM, and then we also talked about some of the scenarios which are available as out-of-the-box scenarios for our customers. So now let's talk about that how to leverage these pre-built AI use cases. So with ISLM, you can easily explore and utilize pre-built AI use cases. For our customers, ISLM acts as a single entry point. And in the exploration and discovery phase, we can use the Intelligence Scenarios app to explore and to discover different scenarios. For example, you could look up an LOB specific scenario that you're interested in. You could check additional information about the scenarios and so on. Now, once you've identified the scenario, then the next step could be that you basically run the readiness check. You basically want to check whether you can run this scenario in your environment or not. So then you can go ahead and use the prerequisite checks. Then comes the operations part. So this is where again, ISLM app intelligence scenario lifecycle management app can be used to train model with the customer data, and then the quality of the data, quality of the model can be analyzed, and based on the outcome, you could activate these models and then run them productively. So this was around the pre-built UI AI use cases. Now let's explore how you can use ISLM to in the aspect of tailoring AI use cases for your unique needs. So how can you create your own custom scenarios? So again, ISLM supports different types of ML platforms. So right from the HANA ML libraries, the AI Core, AI Services, and so on. So you could use ISLM to build your own AI use cases here. Before before the creation part, you need to evaluate and decide the appropriate machine learning technology and the algorithm that you would like to use, and that is which is best suited for your business needs. So now this forms the foundation of your AI solution. Now within ISLM, you can create an intelligent scenario, and once the scenario is published, then you could operate and then run it productively using the ISLM apps, as I mentioned. So now before we start with the demo, I wanted to briefly talk about AI services which are offered on SAP BTP, and I'd like to name a few here. So these are the services which allow you to seamlessly enhance your business applications, and you can integrate this AI through ISLM. So ISLM serves as a guide, or as a a supporting ally for you to leverage these AI services and infuse intelligence seamlessly into your business processes. So ISLM supports these various AI services such as docs, which is document information extraction, business entity recognition, data attribute recommendation, and so on. All of these services are already supported within ISLM. So before we dive into the demo, a few statements on these services. So docs is a service which is designed to process large amount of data, large volume of data can be processed with this, and the extracted information can be utilized for various purposes, such as generation of sales order, one of the examples that we saw in the previous slides, or even automating some of the processes such as payables and invoices and so on. Business entity recognition, on the other hand, is a service which helps you in detecting and highlighting different types of business entities. And lastly, we also support data attribute recommendation, which helps classify entities such as products and so on. So this was an overview of ISLM and what we support with ISLM and so on. And I believe this sets the stage for us to see ISLM in action. So I would like to now request Abhishek to take over and walk us through the demos.
Thanks, Preeti. I'll share my screen. So let's start with a business use case of sales order auto completion. So the role here is basically an internal sales representative. And the pain point here is that when generally a sales order is created, right, the necessary information in a sales order is automatically populated based on the master data like product and customer. But there could be certain crucial information which could be missing in a sales order, which could lead to a delay in the delivery of the sales order, and thus it impacts the customer satisfaction. And this can easily be resolved with the power of AI. How AI helps here is to automatically recommend the missing fields in a sales order so that an incomplete sales order can easily be completed. Here the advantage that the machine learning offers is that the process was basically a manual entry earlier before the machine learning kicked in here, and then the internal sales rep has to identify which are the missing information in a sales order and manually fill them, which can be error prone. It can be time consuming. And now with the help of data attribute recommendation service, machine learning model is created, and it can be activated and consumed via the ISLM functionality. And then in a business application, you will see the recommendations coming for these missing fields in a sales order. These missing fields are generally there's an incompletion log in a sales order, which can be configured by a BPC expert. And this incompletion log defines which fields can lead to an incomplete sales order. And most of the important fields in the incompletion log has been targeted from the machine learning perspective to be proposed automatically using the data attribute recommendation service. So as I mentioned, the business value here would be to reduce the manual effort, which is time consuming, error prone. The deliveries can get delayed if the sales order are incomplete, and this is easily now resolved with the help of machine learning. This has been offered in the S4 HANA public cloud, starting with the 23.08.3 release. Let's start with the business process. So I have logged in with an internal sales representative, and we see that we have an app called Monitor Recommendation for Sales Document Completion. We see that there are a lot of sales orders which are incomplete, right? Now, the challenge, as I mentioned, would be that, yeah, one way is to manually find out the right values for the missing fields in the sales order and then complete the sales order manually, which can take a lot of time. And we'll also see how this process can be optimized further with the power of AI. Now, one of the biggest challenges when it comes to machine learning and AI is how to efficiently integrate and operate the machine learning use cases in the S/4HANA environment. So this integration can be very complex. It can take a lot of time to integrate the machine learning models into a business process. And the standardization can also be missing for the customers and partners, because if every use case starts building and integrating the machine learning capabilities on their own and offers different set of capabilities, it becomes very difficult for the customers to work in such a kind of a heterogeneous landscape. And that's where ISLM kicks in, where ISLM offers various capabilities like it acts as a single entry point to explore the use cases, and then you can easily integrate the AI use cases into a business application with a low code approach using ISLM. You can do the standardized and harmonized ML operations with ISLM, and you get a control over the productive usage. You can consume the prediction or the inference results into a business process, again with a low code approach of ISLM. So we have logged in an analytics specialist user in an S4 HANA system, and these are the three Fury apps which are offered by ISLM. The first Fury app is the Intelligent Scenarios app, and here you can see a lot of pre-delivered use cases. So pre-delivered use cases are those where AI ML is already infused into a business process in S4 HANA. So we have use cases from finance, we have supply chain, we have sourcing and procurement, and also the sales use case. The use case that I'm going to focus now would be the sales document auto completion use case that we discussed. And one of the main challenges for a analytics specialist or the business admin is to find out how to get started with a use case, right? Where is the documentation? What are the set of steps that he or she needs to do to enable the use case in his own environment, right? And that's where ISLM provides certain additional information in a context of a use case. So the intelligent scenario represents the machine learning use case here, and you can see the Fury app ID where the predictions from the train model will be shown, the scope item to be activated, and you can also navigate on the show details button to get more additional information like what is the communication scenario ID, what is the business benefit, so on and so forth. So once this use case has been explored, the documentations have been read, right? So the customers easily understand that how to get started with the use case. The second challenge or the pain point is this, that the customer is interested in using this use case to predict the missing fields in a sales document. Now, how to enable this use case, how to train a model based on the data which is available in their landscape, how to deploy the model, how to have a control over the productive usage. And this is resolved then with the second Fury app of ISLM, that is the Intelligent Scenario Management Fury application, with the help of which all the end-to-end ML operations can be performed in a standardized and a harmonized way. So whatever be the type of use case, whatever be the type of algorithm or the approach that you use, you get a standard way to do the ML operations with ISLM. So we are in the second Fury app, that is the Intelligent Scenario Management Fury application. And we are interested in sales document auto completion use case. And one of the challenges, again, which is faced by a business admin is to know whether this use case will even work in his environment or not, whether they have sufficient data to train the machine learning model, are the business specific configurations activated, and this can be checked using the prerequisite check functionality in ISLM. So the business admin could trigger the pre-check for a pre-delivered use case, and he could see that the multiple checks that are delivered, and he could run these checks and ensure that his system has all the prerequisites before starting the ML operations. So we can, after the checks are triggered, we could also view the prerequisite check results in ISLM. So you can see which checks passed, which checks failed, and you can also navigate to the details page, and here you can get more detailed insights uh, that how many checks were successful and how much time it took. For example, we see that there's sufficient data to train the model. The minimum value was 1,000, and the actual value is much higher than the minimum data which is required to train the model. And it is good to go ahead now with the ML operations with the help of ISLM. So the next phase is basically the ML ops phase. And in the ML ops, the machine learning model has to be created based on the data which resides in the customer's landscape. That's where ISLM provides the capability to train the machine learning model. And here, most of the important information is pre-populated by ISLM. And you can also see the targets. And if you want to further filter the data set here, you can use some certain training filters here. For example, if you want to filter the sales on document on a specific document type, or basically based on a specific plant, shipping point, shipping conditions, you could do so. And the data set automatically will then also get reduced, and then the filtered data will be used to train the machine learning model. So let's look at already completed training and to understand how to analyze the quality of the model. So we see that the training is one of the trainings is already completed here. And before you go ahead with the next step to deploy the model to make it available for inference calls, you first need to analyze the quality of the model, right? And here ISLM also plays a major role where you can see the debrief information in ISLM. So you can see what is the accuracy, and here the accuracy is also shown for every target that the machine learning model will be predicting. So that you can see the plant, the sales group, sales office, shipping point, shipping conditions, customer payment terms, and you can understand how good the model is. So you can see that the model quality is really good here, because the higher the value of accuracy, better would be the quality of the model. So similarly, is the F1 score, precision, recall, all these model metrics can be analyzed. And you can also analyze that what kind of data was kind of used to train the model, not at a data level, that rather on a high level, that how much packets of data were uploaded, and which packets failed, which packets were successful in the data packet section. So we see that around 40,374 rows of data were uploaded with this file size. You can also monitor additional information here. For example, how much time the training took to run, the number of rows, number of columns in the data set. The next step would be to deploy the model. And here ISLM already populates the model that has to be deployed. And once the deployment is successful, you can monitor the status of the deployment in ISLM. And we have two types of activation. So the activation is a step to have a control over the productive use. So you can decide which model to use in a business application or in a given business process to predict the missing fields in a sales order. So that this document, this model training and a retraining process is iterative process. You just don't do it once, you keep doing it, because your data can keep changing right in your landscape. So you can deploy the model, and then if you want to test this model only for a specific user, you could just activate it for your user, test the entire flow. And if you're satisfied with the quality of the inference results or the predictions or the recommendations in a business process, then you can activate it for all the users in the system. Once this process has been done, here ISLM also provides certain easy to consume APIs with which the recommendations from the model can easily be integrated and infused into a business application. Now we go back to this monitor recommendations for sales document completion. So we see that the sales document is incomplete, and the machine learning model has already recommended 8 fields. So we can look at those fields which are recommended by the machine learning model. So in the header, we see that the sales office has been recommended with 2 values. The sales group has been recommended with 2 values, and these are all good good quality of predictions to be proposed by the model. On the item level also, there are certain fields which has automatically been recommended by the model. For example, we see that the plant is 1710 is the best option, and we see that the shipment point 1710 is the best option, which is recommended by the model. You can also have a look at the log. So in the log, you can see that the recommendations have been done, but it has not been accepted by the user. Okay, and you can also view the same recommendations what we saw earlier. We also get a possibility to navigate to the to complete the document. So let me take a simple example where the 2 fields which are proposed here. So we see that sales office and the sales group is proposed by the machine learning model. So we can click on this complete document data and we navigate to the sales order document here. This takes some time, and then when the sales document is available, we can edit it and we can accept those recommendations. So I click on edit button here. Now I click on the incompleteness info. So incompleteness info will tell you what is the missing information in the sales order. So I click on this button. So we see that the two information which is missing, one is the sales group and one is the sales office. So we click on this sales group here, and we can see that there's certain information which has already been recommended here. So I think we need to click on the cursor here for some time. Or maybe let me take another example. So let me open some other example here for the sales process. Click on go. So I open the same Fiori app here that I had opened earlier. Let me take this same example and see which fields are recommended by the machine learning model. The recommended fields are generally shown in the yellow color, and when you click on the row highlight, you can just navigate to one of the missing information. So let me take an item, for example, the shipping point here. So if I enter here, we can see that there will be some recommendations that can be made by the model. So I enter on the shipping point, and we see the recommendations coming from the model, and the user can accept these recommendations and go ahead and save the sales order, and this can then complete the sales process, and then the delivery and other information can easily be posted. So the delay in delivery postings can be avoided, the manual process can be avoided. So this is a big the problem that has been resolved with the power of AI here. Let's also look into the custom use cases. So as we saw also in the presentation that ISLM supports pre-delivered use cases, but you can also build your own custom use cases with ISLM to solve a custom specific machine learning problem. So with custom creation, ISLM supports various approaches here. For example, it supports different types of algorithms like gradient boosting, robust regression, different machine learning libraries provided by HANA like APL and PAL. And on the side-by-side front, where the machine learning runs on BTP, ISLM also offers uh, support for different ML services and platforms such as SAP AI Core, the data attribute recommendation, business identity recognition, to name a few. The process remains similar. How we saw with the data attribute recommendation for a pre-delivered use case, that you can create an intelligent scenario, and then you can set up a connection for a scenario, and then you do the ML operations. That you train the model, you view the model matrix, and you activate the model for the productive usage. And even for the HANA-ML based use case, the process is that you can create a scenario, you can define two data sets. One is a training data set, which is a training series view, from which the data will be picked up to train the model, and applied data set is the open items on which the machine learning results or the prediction results will be applied. Then you can define what are the features that you have, what are the inputs to train the model, what is the target which the model will propose to you or predict to you. And then ISLM generates certain serious views with which you can easily integrate the predictions from a trained model into a business application with a low-code approach. So there are different serious views that we generate, and based on the business specific requirement, you can use one of the views. So if you have a smaller data set, you could go with the first view like an apply view without any parameters, and then there are CDS views which has key fields as parameters. Generally, this is used for a single record protection, or you can even have a complex use case where you want to filter the applied data set with a kind of a complex where clause, so you can just pass the where clause here. So based on the use case, you can decide which of these views to use. And the next step would be to do the ML operations, even for your custom use case. So you can train the model, you can view the model quality and activate the model for productive usage. So even with HANA ML, the flavor remains the same. You can view the model metrics here to understand how good is the model. So we also provide a 5-star quality indicator. The higher the number of stars, better will be the quality of model. Yeah. And then we also provide certain kind of error metrics like RMSE, MAP, MAE, and all that. And lower the value of the regression metrics, better will be the quality of the model. You could also see some key influencer metrics to understand which of the input variables, right, contributes to the model. What is the contribution for each of the variables? So here we see that the seats occupied has the maximum contribution here on the model quality. Then you can activate the model for the productive usage. You can deactivate it, and you can also perform the other ML operations. So whatever be the kind of use case or whatever be the ML runtime that you want to use, which is supported from SAP side, this entire standardizations, harmonization, and ease of integration of an AI capability into a business application with a low-code approach is supported with ISLM. Let's also look for one of the most important topic to understand that what ISLM is doing for generative AI based use cases. So till now, what we discussed was more the classical and the narrow AI approach, but generative AI definitely becomes very important. It is a natural extension to what we already do in ISLM. So at least with generative AI, the idea is that ISLM can act as an application integration component between the business application and the Gen AI hub. And you can create an intelligent scenario of the type generative AI, and you can connect this intelligent scenario to a generative AI hub, which provides an access to the third party and the open source AI models. You can do the prompt management, you can do the lifecycle management to deploy and activate the Gen AI models. And then you also get a prompt executions with ISLM, with which you can easily integrate the results from the LLM models into business apps with a low-code approach. And then in the future, we also plan to support advanced capabilities like custom embeddings, model fine-tunings, etc. Let's go to a short demo, just a 2 minutes demo. So here with ISLM, the idea with generative AI is that you will have a new type of a scenario in ISLM called Gen AI. You can define the name of the scenario. You can give it a description, and then you can do an add model. In the add model, you can define what is the LLM vendor and the LLM model that you want to use. And then you can enter the engineered prompt templates in ISLM. So the prompt templates, so here the use case that we're talking about is to generate a description for a sales order. So the prompt specifications can be done, the prompt templates can be specified. The parameters inside the prompt templates are shown. Some parameters which have sensitive information can also be anonymized. And you can also define the hyper parameters to fine tune the response from the LLM models. You can define n number of prompt templates for a given ISLM model in ISLM, and then you can publish the intelligent scenario in ISLM and lock it in a transport request. And yeah, you're done with the creation of a scenario part. The next step would be to go to the generative AI hub and provision the ML AI core service, get a service instance and a service key. And with that service key, you can easily set up the connections in ISLM, where you can upload the service key in ISLM, and ISLM provides you a way to set up a connection between intelligent scenario, which runs in S4 HANA, to an ML service or a ML platform, which then runs on BTP. You can validate the connections, save it, and then you can. So the examples that we are taking is generally GPT-4 models or GPT 3.5 models, where you don't have to really train the models, right? Most of the LLM models are pre-trained. So you can deploy the models to make it available for inference calls and then activate the models for productive usage. Then ISLM will also provide the prompt execution APIs, right? Where you can easily execute the prompts where you can specify certain parameters which were inside the prompt template. You can specify the hyperparameter values, and with that, ISLM will pick up the right prompt template and prepare the actual prompt that has to be sent to the LM model for execution, get a response from the LM models, which can be further consumed in a business process in S/4HANA. Coming to our roadmap, that the idea with 2023 was to for ISLM to support as a central framework to build and deliver the ML use cases. So we saw the demo for sales order auto completion use case to propose the missing fields in sales order. We also added a lot of new capabilities in ISLM. So with ISLM, even for side-by-side scenarios based on data attribute recommendation, it is now possible to extract and transmit the data to an ML service running on BTP, and models can be trained seamlessly with the help of ISLM. You also get an option to do a flexible model activation. So you can activate multiple models in ISLM for a given intelligence scenario, and these models can be segregated by business context. So if you want to have separate models for every country code or every plant, and you want to activate multiple of those models in ISLM, you get such kind of a flexible model activation, or kind of a segmented model concept in ISLM. The roadmap for 2024 is to continue our investments to support more pre-built use cases and also extend our capabilities towards LLMs. So we'll also targeting some new use cases like the cash application to propose the matching open invoices against a bank statement item. And we also have maintenance order recommendations to easily create the maintenance order. We'll be supporting on our investments towards the generative AI and the LLM-based use case to support prompt management, the prompt executions, prompt lifecycle management. We also are working on a concept to support auto enablement of a pre-delivered use case with a click of a button, which is called as a turnkey, where the use case will be auto activated for you, and you don't have to perform all the ML operations on your own. We also intend to support extensibilities concept which customers can build their own models, include their own set of features and targets which they want the model to be proposed. And we also have one of the topics in our roadmap to extend the ISLM capabilities for every other business applications in other software stacks, like the BTP apps and the non-BTP apps outside S4 context as well. You can explore further information about ISLM. So we have the Help Center documentation link, we have the webinar replays, we have the community blog where you have most of the information of latest up-to-date information of ISLM. You can explore our Roadmap Explorer to find out the roadmap for ISLM. The prerequisites to set up and work on ISLM is listed here. And you can also explore and leverage the fully activated Cloud Appliance Library, which has the support for some of the pre-built use cases, and also you can create your own custom use cases with CAL. So this is a fully activated license, so you don't have to do any setup. Everything works out of the box. So with this, we'd like to thank you for joining the call, and we are open for Q&A.
All right. Thank you, Preeti. Thank you, Abhishek, for this presentation and detailed demo. From my side, I can only say, wow, it looks very powerful. And we have one question from the chat regarding a system demo, if this is available also for trying, for public trying. Is something available there?
So to explore ISLM, so as Abhishek mentioned, we have a fully activated CAL appliance available. And in the previous slide, we also have links to how to set it up, and other details are available. So the CAL appliance has some basic scenarios. Some of the pre-built scenarios are available, and then all the data and all the setup around is already pre-configured. So that could be used to just, kind of get your hands dirty with ISLM.
Excellent. This is good to know. One more question that was submitted in advance. Is it feasible to use ISLM without SAP BTP? BTP stands for Business Technology Platform.
Yes, so ISLM, as I mentioned, supports both the approaches, the embedded approach and the side-by-side approach. And embedded approach is where you have your ML capabilities are being utilized from the HANA ML. and you have your business application and your ML provider are both part of the same stack. And so in such a case where you are utilizing HANA ML based ML capabilities, then in that case, BTP is not required. And as I mentioned, ISLM is part of S/4HANA inherently.
Okay, thank you for that. I think you've mentioned that no additional licenses required. Is it correct?
Yes. So in case of embedded scenarios, there are no additional licenses required.
Okay, this is also good to know. One more question was on ISLM roadmap for Gen AI support. Do we have anything there?
Yeah, I think as we mentioned, the idea with Gen AI is to provide these capabilities in ISLM. Yeah, we also intend to offer ISLM for custom Gen AI capabilities, also for custom creation, where you can create your own custom use cases in future. But yeah, that is not there yet. But maybe in the future releases we can offer that. So the idea with at least the integrating the Gen AI capabilities is to provide a way to create an ML use case of the type Gen AI, define your prompt templates, define which LLM vendors and models to be used, and then you can do the lifecycle management. You can deploy and activate those LLM models with ISLM, and then you get easy to consume ABAP APIs with which you can easily get the prompt execution capabilities offered by ISLM, and then integrate the results from the LLM models into your business applications with a low-code approach. So that would be something that we'll be offering in the future releases here.
Excellent. Thank you for this. I can't see more questions in the chat. Again, I can only thank you, Preeti and Abhishek, for being our speakers today. And I thank you all the participants of today's session. As I've already mentioned, the materials will be available in the description to this video shortly after we finish this stream. And if you have any questions, please check the materials, and there will be contact information of Preeti and Abhishek. So feel free to interact and get in touch with our speakers directly. With this, thank you very much. And we will stay in touch. And stay tuned for more sessions that we will be offering on SAP Community YouTube channel. Thank you and bye-bye.